Well, yeah, so welcome everybody to our social media panel. All of us here have different experiences with social media, but have been doing it for some years now, just taking our mocks and putting them on the internet. So we'll go ahead and do a quick intro, and then we'll move through our presentations in this order, and then we have time for questions after. I think we have about an hour.
You have as long as you would like. I mean, it's 2:07 now.
You're all hostages now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so not only do we have experience posting different types of mocks to the internet, we also have experiences on different platforms. For me, most of my experience is on Instagram with a little bit of dabbling in Twitch. So a little bit of live streaming. And then everything that you can do on Instagram.
And
a little overview.
Yeah, I'm Kelly, and I'm mostly on Instagram, not YouTube, which is the big one, but I'm not on it. But Instagram is my main one. So when we go through, that's what I'll be talking about.
Yep, and I'm Jeff Brickbending, and I have dabbled on most of the platforms, and I have strong opinions about various ones. So I added TikTok with a little asterisk on mine, but yeah, we can talk about any aspect of that.
Andrew, I'm mostly on YouTube, do some Instagram, and I did start a Facebook page for mine, but I've had nothing on it, so I kind of abandoned that for a while.
That is Facebook.
That is Facebook.
That is true. Do you mind starting us off, Kelly?
I'll go first, and I can just click through it from right here. So these are the platforms that I'm on. My social media journey has been on a variety of platforms. Still no YouTube, which I know is a really big one, so I'm glad to talk about YouTube. But Instagram is my main one, and Facebook is my second one that I post on the most. But I'm also on Flickr, Blue Sky, Threads, and Patreon. And I've just tried those last few because they've been new, and I'm trying to figure things out. I don't really know where to be, but I've sort of expanded, but mostly I'll talk about Instagram because that's kind of where I've grown the most following. And so the kinds of things that I share on Instagram, and whatever I post on Instagram, I'll do the exact same post on Facebook because those are my two main ones. And just whoever happens to be following me on Facebook, I don't have as big a following, but there is a group there that wants that following. So I'll just do the exact same post on Instagram and Facebook. But I tend to post finished builds. Like that's my main goal in posting on social media is here's the things that I have built. And that was my whole goal on being on social media. It was just to share the work that I have done. I didn't have a goal of developing a following. I don't try to go viral. I don't have certain goals that some people maybe go on social media to try to do. I didn't want to be an influencer. Like the only reason I'm on social media is to share the work that I've done. So I tend to post finished builds. Pictures is my main thing. Reels and videos have started to become a good thing, so I've tried to make more videos too. And so I do some reels, and when I do reels, which are videos, I try to make those more of like process and behind the scenes. So I did a little series last year of like the tools in my Lego toolbox. Here's some things that I use. So I have like how to use a mallet and just like silly stuff. But like some technique videos, like how to make these trees and how I made a sliding desk drawer, and just a quick little process video of how I make a certain thing. But it's a different way of sharing the work that I do, which is again, like the whole point of it. I will post on stories, and the stories that I share on Instagram are really just the stuff that I want to share, but I don't necessarily want to make it a permanent part of my page. Like I consider my profile page on Instagram sort of like a portfolio. So like if someone goes to my social media page and they look and scroll, they'll see the things that I want to be permanently on my page. And the things that I put in my stories are not the permanent stuff. It's just like behind the scenes. I'll ask questions, so I'll do little polls and engagement and try to get people to engage through my stories. And then I share silly stuff that has nothing to do with Lego building. Like I won this video game and I wanted to share that I platinumed the video game. So that's the kind of thing that I put in my stories because I don't want it to be permanent and it's not part of my Lego page. Like I try to keep my Instagram page strictly focused on Lego. So if I have personal stuff and family stuff or whatever that is not related to Lego, I'll just put that in my stories because they disappear. So I'll do like this poll with the flowers, like which flowers do you like better? Something like that that gets people engaged and responding. So when I was thinking about doing this panel and what to talk about, I was trying to think of what goals do you have with your social media. So if you are looking for tips on social media, think about the things that you want to accomplish with it. Like I said, I wasn't trying to be an influencer. I'm not trying to create a viral video. The only reason I wanted to be on it was to share my work. So there's different goals that you can have, but building a following is something, it's genuine, like it's a real thing that you can and ascribe to if you want to do that. So these were my best tips for if you want to build a following. The best things that I can think of that helped me, because my following has grown, even though that's not what I set out to do. But the thing that helps build a following is make high quality posts. And what I mean by high quality posts, that's the example in this picture, which is kind of hard to see, but so I have the same picture basically 2 times, and one of them is this little tennis court that I built, and it's just on my work table, and all the pieces and stuff in the background is all around it. And then I have the second picture down below is the same tennis court, but it's on my photo table, which is clean background, really simple, like take away all the clutter. And I will say that I have seen posts like the top picture, which is just on someone's work table with a bunch of pieces all around and the picture's kind of askew. And I've seen that as a post on someone's Instagram page. And it's just, it's not as eye-catching as it could be. And I think if you clean up your pictures and take great pictures of your builds, that's what I mean by a high-quality post. Is like, make it pretty, like make the picture pretty, make it look visually appealing, make high-quality posts like that. So that's all I was showing with the difference in these two. Make good builds, like that's post your best stuff. Work in progress pictures are great, but I feel like on your Instagram page, like think of your profile page as your portfolio and put your best stuff out there. Posting consistently and focusing as a portfolio. If you do those things, people will follow you because other people will share it and people will see your work. If you have the goal of connecting with other AFOLs, like that's a valid goal that people have on being on social media, because that's the whole point of the social aspect of being on social media. So you want to be engaging with others, and if this is your goal, focusing on stories is a great way to engage with other AFOLs, because you can post polls and questions and things that require people to respond to you, and then you're messaging with them and you're in a conversation with them. So focusing on stories, sharing other people's work in your stories. So if someone you follow has a great post on their page with an awesome build, share it in your story, and they see that and they get tagged, and then they reshare your story, and it's all very engaging. So that's another way to connect with others, and then participating in all the challenges and events that go on social media. I know Facebook groups has a lot of challenges and groups you can post in if you're on Facebook, but on Instagram there's weekly challenges like the Mosaics on Monday is a weekly build challenge, and the Let's Build series. And if you're participating in these challenges on social media, those pages are sharing your work, tagging you, others are responding to your work, and it's just very socially minded. It's not really a contest, it's just more like, hey, let's build together, and you get that social engagement. If your goal is to get some views on your work, on your reels, on your posts, these are the things that I've sort of narrowed down, get you a lot of views. Make it striking. So if your build is eye-catching, if there's a wow factor, if it makes people go, wow, look at that, like striking videos, striking builds, make it emotional. So if it's heartwarming or tugs at your heartstrings and gives you a sense of nostalgia, if it makes you angry, if it gets you annoyed, if it makes you sad, like anything that elicits an emotional response from people who are viewing it, will get your video shared more or commented on. And for me, it's been anger has been a lot of it. Like, people get mad about the things that I post, and they comment on it and they share it in their story, and they're like, can you believe this? But and as angry as they are, they're sharing my work, which is getting it more views. So if there's something emotional about it, or if it's a build that's just like very touching or makes you sad, like those kinds of things make people want to share your work more. Making it unique. So I see a lot of shares from posts and videos that are unusual techniques, some good parts usage, things that are just not conventional that people haven't seen before. So if you have a reel or a post that is unique like that, that'll get a lot of shares and make your view count go up. And then I said make it controversial. This is the kind of stuff that like You know, there's controversial Lego techniques that you can use. Some people feel very strongly one way or the other. I personally don't care about using illegal techniques, so I will use them in my builds, and I will share them on social media, and that makes people upset sometimes. And so they tend to comment in angry comments too, but they share it, and that gets my video more views. This video that I have a screenshot of up here was a video that I made where I used a technique where I turned some pieces upside down, and I feel like it met all of these things on here. It was a striking build because I actually thought it was really good. It was emotional because it made people angry. It was unique because I was using parts in different ways, and it was controversial because everyone thought the techniques were illegal when actually they weren't. But you can see, I don't know if you can see the number up here, but this video it's up to 33.8 million views. So it sort of like checked all of those things and went viral, which was not my goal. Like I'll say that again, like I didn't intend to do that. I was just sharing the things that I do, and I had a solution to a problem that I turned a piece upside down, and it just caught everyone's attention. So that's the kind of stuff that gets views. But with more views comes more comments. So I want to say this too, is that if you're getting a lot of views on your reels and you're getting followers, that's great. You will get more comments, and they will be more negative comments in there. So I have a sampling of the negative comments that I've received that I just tend to try to ignore, and it's gotten easier for me to ignore them, but these are, I don't know if you can read them.
Some of them are in focus.
Yeah, some of it says someone has too much time on their hands, yawn. This technique disgusts me. Good thing it ain't mine. Hope it works well for you. Congrats, you posted the most boring video on the entire internet. Best useless video of the day. These are all from different reels and things that I've posted. I hate how nothing's ever really deleted from the internet. There's no use telling you to delete this. 14-year-old engineering, and this is just a sample of comments that I get. So these are, I delete the worst ones. The worst ones, I just delete them right off my thing, but these I'll just leave up there. And you just have to know that if you're getting successful on social media, you'll get negative comments, and you just roll with it. Just know that they're out there. Yes?
So do you tend to post your work in progress photos like on Flickr then, or?
I don't usually post work in progress photos as a part of any permanent display of my portfolio. So not on Flickr, not on Instagram, not on Facebook. Those are my main places. But I will post them in stories. So sometimes I do a work in progress in my stories because I know it's not permanent. And I guess somebody could take a screenshot of it if they wanted to, but it's just not part of my permanent portfolio. And yeah, and I don't do a lot of work in progress pictures because I like to have a big reveal at the end. So I want to post my final build. So my best Instagram tips are post good content, post consistently, make engaging content, and don't be afraid to be controversial. That's an engaging thing. And I said at the bottom here, 2 out of 3 of those is all you really need to be successful on Instagram. So if you're posting good content and you're posting consistently, you're gonna grow, your account's gonna grow. If you're posting consistently and you're posting engaging content, but it's not really that good, you're gonna grow, like you're gonna engage others. If you're posting good content and you're being engaging, but you're not really posting consistently, it's okay, you're still gonna grow. So those are my 3 best tips for Instagram. Was that my last one? Yeah, that was my last one, sorry. Okay, so I just wanted to go through those kind of fast. But I can answer questions, or we can go down and then we can all just kind of answer questions as a group at the end, if that works. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Yes. We're going to see similar things as we go down the road. I will say, if Kelly's not trying to go viral, I can't wait till you actually do. That's going to be crazy. So I'm Jeff Sanders. I am also brick bending, also the illegal Lego guy. So tripling down on controversy with illegal techniques. I think it's the most banal controversy in the world, right? And I think we all experience social media and all of its negative qualities. In this space, I think it's actually kind of fun. So we'll flip to the next one. So my big picture advice, having gone down this road for a long time, is that before you head down into social media, or even if you're kind of halfway there now, just ask yourself big picture questions like, what are you trying to get from social media? So I did a list of things like notoriety, popularity. You just want to share your creative work. Are you looking to make money? Are you looking to just connect with interesting people or connect with other 8-balls? Are you looking just for opportunities out there in the wide world? Or maybe you want to get on Lego Masters, right? Like, I don't actually know how to get on Lego Masters, but it certainly doesn't hurt you if you have that profile out there. So try to figure out what you want to accomplish, because all of those things, nothing's wrong with any of those things, but it all doesn't come all at once. And so I think when I started in social media, I kind of had this broad idea that if I succeed in social media, I'll get all the things. And that's just not true. But I've gotten a lot of different things in a lot of different ways. So if you focus on what you're trying to accomplish, then you can spend your time, your money, your effort, and your expectations effectively. So my biggest advice is do what you enjoy. And I say that because imagine if you go, I want to do social media, and you put a ton of time and effort into it, but you don't actually like what you're producing. And then you become successful. You go viral and you have these new opportunities. You would then be stuck doing something you don't like to do. And then you walk away from that. It's just, the best case scenario is do something you like on a schedule that is sustainable, and then you'll just win, because either you'll do something you like over and over again, or you'll do something you like over and over again and you'll have some success. So either way it's good, but don't do anything if you're like, I don't like this post I'm making. Don't post it. It's just, there's just not a lot of value to it. So in terms of, if you're actually looking for notoriety, if you're looking to get attention, my advice is go for vertical content. Reels, shorts, TikToks. And the reality there is there's really not any money to be made on that front. At least I don't know anyone who's made any money that way. But it's the fastest way to get eyes on what you're doing. If you post pictures, you can get some engagement, but right now in the social media world, it's all about vertical content. So, but if you actually want to focus on making some money, YouTube's the only platform that actually pays anything real. So that's just part of, like, if what you're trying to do is just get out there, get your stuff out there, make vertical content, that's fantastic. But if you actually want to try to make some money to pay for the bricks that you're buying constantly, that's why you might want to focus on YouTube. The other thing is just sharing what you post. Sorry.
So what's vertical content?
Vertical content is when you have a video that's vertical versus horizontal.
Okay.
So that's the death scrolling, you death scroll vertical
Okay,
content.
yeah. Okay.
So in terms of just sharing what you do, I think that if nothing else, if you share what you do on any platform that you actually like, in any format you enjoy, that's going to be a good thing. And because you don't know what's going to come out of doing that. And I threw this picture on. Does anyone know who made that?
What's this?
That's a little mummy. That is Tyler Kleitz, who he and his wife won season 1 of Lego Masters. And I saw that picture 8 years ago, and I went, that person's doing something cool. Like, I don't know who this person is. It wasn't later until I figured out, oh, I followed him. I followed him before he was famous. I followed him. But it's one of those things where it's just those connections. The number of times I see a Lego builder out there, and I just go, that person's cool. Like, those little connections that happen. And so going back to connections. So one of the things that over the years I've really appreciated about social media is I have connections now with Lego builders that I really admire. And you could probably guess why I like this particular build. It's geometric, that's what my brain does. This is Virginia Bricks. I don't know, I actually don't know what her actual name is. And I've never met her, but we've talked back and forth, and like once a month she posts something and I just go, oh, that's so cool, that's so cool. And I just send her a message. Okay, next one. And then opportunities. I think the single coolest thing I have ever had come out of my Lego building experience is that I got commissioned at a festival in the Middle East. So I got to build this massive thing, they paid for it, and I got to go out and do this crazy adventure outside of Dubai. At the time that happened, I had 2,000 followers on Instagram. I had never had anything go viral, but the fact that I put what I did out on the internet and braved the perils of that meant that it just arbitrarily someone saw it and made a connection and then reached out to me, and then the whole thing unfolded. So you don't have to have 1 million followers to have positive things come out of a social media experience.
So how many followers did you have after you did that in Dubai?
It didn't really make a dent.
Really?
It was really, yeah, it's really TikTok and it's vertical content that got eyes on what I did.
Okay.
And then I think I have one more. So this goes back to Kelly's thing. if you put your stuff on the internet and you find any success, you will get haters. It is just the nature of the beast. And especially now with bots, you don't know how many nasty things being said about you. It's just some 14-year-old bot that they built to say nasty things online. So avoid reading it if you can. Some people take inspiration from it, but that's not really my style. The other thing is on your content, on your platforms, you can block certain words from your comments. That changed my life. Where I was just like, just think of the list of all the words you never want to see in your comments and then put them in there. They're all blocked automatically, right? It's a beautiful thing. So, but the net benefit is you will develop a thicker skin. And that's actually kind of helpful. It's helpful to get that, somebody says something really nasty about you, and then you're just like, whatever. You just, so I think it never fully goes away. Every now and then I'll read a negative comment like, oh, ow, because it's usually a little bit true. Right? They're like, oh, you saw through my roots. But it is that which does not kill you, makes you stronger. I do think that you can develop a thicker skin, and that can be good. And I think that's the last thing.
Yep.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Andrew. I've only been on social media doing my stuff for about 1.5 years, so I'm way smaller than these guys are. So I wanted to focus more on the how to get started portion of it, because my content is a lot more indicative of what you would expect from someone getting started. First off, the barrier of entry is 0. I invested basically nothing into my equipment. Actually, I brought my setup with me. Nice. My grandparents got me this for Christmas a couple years ago. It is a desk clamp for your phone. I use this as my tripod. I really need to get a better one though because it's really jiggly. $15 at Michael's will get you a cake decorating turntable.
Nice.
A lot of people have like digital ones that are motorized. You don't need to do that. If you want to show all the angles without having to have your hands in and stuff like that, just do that, and that's it. I kind of got to the table in my basement. I have overhead lights. I actually show it on the next panel, but it's not really hard to get into it. All you need is your phone, internet access, and the will to do it. And like, see, I have a pad of paper as my backdrop that is taped to the wall in my basement, and that's it. And you zoom in, you can't tell it's pad of paper. So, and we didn't go over the one that had yours in there, but I saw, I think we might have skipped it, but he had a breakdown for a lot of more fancier things. So that's sort of like when you transition to once you're.
I have the fancy stuff if you have slides.
Yeah.
Because my wife was a photographer, I just borrow all of her stuff.
I think this is incredibly apt. It's like, because almost everyone has a phone that's good enough to make great social media. And so on the low end, I think that when I first started, I probably invested $400. And that was for some decent sound, some decent light, and some background phone cord, right? And I think my current setup is no more than $1,200. And that is for photography, paper, background. I have 2 Yeti microphones, and I have the lights that I have 6 lights, and those collectively are like $400. But like, do that first, 100%. Do the cheapest version first, and then if you like it, then spend $200 on getting a few things. But yes, 100%. I'm gonna get one of those too. That's amazing.
Cake decorating. I looked everywhere for little turntables and little Lazy Susans. Couldn't find it anywhere, except for weird, like office desk ones with separators for pens and stuff. Cake decorating, like my mom does cakes. So it's like that's all I need. $15 at Michael's. Yeah, so I have invested nothing into getting my channel started. Phones these days are fantastic. I just upgraded mine, but I was using a Pixel 4a.
For a 10-year-old phone or something?
That's about 5 years old. And great quality. I mean, I have the phone right in front of my face, so I don't really need microphones or anything. But once you get into it, you can upgrade, set to whatever you want. If you really want to lean into more production side, you can get better lights, you can get better tables, you can get better tripods, actual tripods.
If you're recording audio, before you get a good mic, yeah, do the foam stuff. It's cheaper and it'll make a bigger difference than a nice mic will. Your acoustics are way more important than the equipment.
It is. So long as people can hear you, they can just put your video on in the background.
Or
I
don't
do
even
that
get
when I
the
cook.
don't even get the foam. Just open your closet door if you've got sweaters hanging in there. That's the acoustic damping. So you just record with your phone in front of your coats. You're fine.
I record in a basement. Great lighting. To the next one. And I, like they were saying, she's not going for virality, and he's just doing what he loves. I'm taking a very casual approach to my social media. I do it for the sake of creating the content. So I'm not really worried about the higher quality stuff. I just want to show it. I do it for me. My channel will probably never reach monetization threshold on YouTube because I don't really aim for that. I just want to really share what I'm doing. And there are pros and cons to that approach. First, it's fast. You churn out content like crazy. I used to make like 4 or 5 videos at a time and then schedule them out. But now it's just like, oh, I want to go downstairs and film a video. Okay, 20 minutes, done, post it. It's easy and simple. Literally just walk downstairs, make a video, post it, done. And I'm able to do it as just a hobby in between things. It doesn't take too much time and effort. Because I post my raw footage. I know this is kind of a sin in content creation, but if I tried to script it out and then edit it after filming it, I would never get it done. Executive dysfunction is a thing, procrastination is a thing. It works for me to just get it out there and then set it free and let it go. The cons to the very casual approach is you are not going to get as much engagement because it's not going to be the highest quality. It's not always going to be very attention grabbing. Like I said, lower quality content. And also it's a hobby. So it's both a pro and a con. You can do it in your spare time, but if that's all you do, you're only going to be doing it in your spare time. You're not going to be focusing more on it to get into a more professional level. But that's sort of a transition period. This is more of getting started and figuring out what you want to do. And here's what to expect. Awesome, don't let you be dreams. You be consistent, because that's how you're going to develop your style, but feel free to experiment in the beginning. Because you're not going to really know what you like doing until you figure it out through trial and error. A really good thing to do is also with the next one. It's going to be very awkward. Really good thing to do is you don't have to post everything you do, especially at the very beginning when you don't really know what you're doing and you don't have the handle of everything. You can film 1,000 videos and never post one of them until you feel that you're ready to do it. I know I didn't do that. I just went right into it. My first few videos, I'm rambling, it's fumbling my words, it's very awkward. You need to get used to talking to a camera, sitting in a room by yourself, talking out loud to yourself. It's kind of weird, but the more you do it, the more you're going to be able to do it. And so now, a year and a half in, I'm finally able to just sit down and say what I want without pausing for like 15 minutes and then having to start over the entire video because I lost my train of thought and I have to do it 3 more times. The next one is a very big one. They've already gone over it. Not everyone is going to agree with you. Don't get caught up on that. I haven't got that many negative comments, but there have been a few that are kind of negative Nancy's, like, come on, just chill. Don't feed the trolls. I try to start conversations with my replies to the comments, and people say, yeah, it's really great. And I'm like, yeah. Here's my inspiration for this, or they ask me a question and I tell them exactly what parts I used, and we get kind of a discourse going on. And that I find that the ones where you actually talk to people, you get more, the algorithm likes that, and so try to reply to all your comments and get some conversations going. And it's really cool. I've had a few people comment online with, there was one guy who commented all the parts needed to make a little coffee machine. And I think I brought that when I did my water jug mock. I got the little coffee machine, and he just told me to list. I was like, that's fantastic. I'm building that, and I put it in one of my builds. So it's really interesting. People are actually interested in what you do, and they want to share some of their things, and you can talk to people. And getting started, you might not get the engagement that you're expecting because you don't have that footprint yet. You don't have your platform established yet. So make connections, talk to people, get that engagement going. A good one is to go out on other, like Facebook groups and other social medias instead of just focusing on just one. Spread out a bit, get that kind of community connections going, and then just let it grow naturally. Don't be like, I'm going to post this and go viral, and I'm going to get $30,000 in revenue. No, you're not going to see that for a while unless you focus everything on there and you find that sweet spot. Like these guys did. They're kind of what I aspire to be.
He's pointing at the two in the middle.
And to cap that all off, like they said, just have fun. Do it because you love it. Don't do it because you feel you need to do it. People will pick up on if you're having fun with your stuff because you're going to be enthusiastic about it. You're going to want to keep doing it. You're going to keep posting content. And yeah, don't let your dreams be dreams. Just do it.
Do it.
Just do it.
All right, I'll go ahead and jump into what I'm going to be talking about today. So I do have my own Lego Instagram page, but the social media that I primarily create for is New Elementary. So it's primarily a blog that promotes the blog through social media, but according to the Lego group, our primary outlet is wherever we get the most viewership, which is Instagram. So I'll be talking about the branding that New Elementary has and other experiences I've had with that. The studio photography, I'm not much of a videographer. I would like to try and move into that space, but really the photography is what I think got me a seat on New Elementary's roster, and is basically what I've always posted on Instagram. I got to get some more visibility with the doom scrolling content. I do have my own personal page, so I'll talk a little bit about what I do there, but that's mostly been covered by Kelly, Jeff, and Andrew. I also want to talk about social media as a user, not just a creator, but some mental health tips with social media, because it can be an internet hellscape. And I'll talk a little bit about PortLUG social media, because I'm helping out in that regard as well. Which of course you are all invited to send stuff to post or just comment and interact with the PortLUG social media pages. So like I said, most of my experience is on Instagram, and of course I put all my stuff at the bottom where it's the blurriest. But I started out on Instagram primarily doing car photography. I really like cool cars, but I don't have one of my own, so I'd go to car shows, bring my camera out there. And that actually got me most of the hands-on experience of shooting photographs of shiny things, which is what cars and Lego have in common. So I started the Cars Instagram page in 2016 and have since got tired of it. You know, it wasn't content that I really had the means to create myself. I always had to go find other people's cars and meet up at the events whenever they were there. I was also trying to run a YouTube page in that same vein at the same time, and juggling two cameras at, you know, the 3-hour car shows just wasn't working for me. So instead of quitting, I just disappeared. But what is much more consistent is New Elementary. I've been writing for 4.5 years. If you're not familiar with New Elementary, we do a lot of set reviews that focus specifically on the new parts that LEGO are introducing, whether it be recolored, completely new molds, and we try to have a specific showcase of everything that's new in a set, and occasionally we build mocks showcasing those parts. There are some very talented builders in New Elementary, and I aspire to be as good as them someday. The last couple blocks over here are some projects that I worked on when I was employed by Intel. I had my Intel show and tell earlier today. Thankfully I didn't burn any bridges there, so they can still keep paying me without me being an employee. And I also had a stint at Epic Games on a maternity leave coverage contract for Fortnite Creative, where I got to direct some videos and other posts that were highlighting things going on in the Fortnite community. So it's been interesting seeing behind the curtain of how these giant brands treat social media. And like I said, I'm helping out with PortLUG socials as of this year. So if you're going to be creating anything that you want to post and want people to immediately identify, you need to be consistent in a lot of the things that you're presenting. So if it's stills or videos, you're going to want consistent subject matter. Like if you take a look at one of Jeff's builds, that's brick bending. You don't have to have any extra visual treatments. You see plates doing this, and you're like, oh, well, that's brick bending. It does what it says on the tin.
3,000 of the same plate.
Yep.
On a white background.
Yep. So things like the subject matter, the colors, the font, and other visual treatments that you can include in your post, that's going to start to be recognizable. And then when you do get into video, like I said, I'm not the expert there, but video pacing or the shooting styles, trying to have the consistent voiceover. Andrew's really good about consistent voiceover, like your voice comes on.
Stick to it.
Yeah. No, it sounds great. I like scrolled in one of your videos and I'm like, oh, hey, this is Andrew's stuff. And the type of music that you use, I think there's always this push to use whatever trending audio there is, and I'm sure that's helpful, but I like the few times I do include music in my posts using music that I actually listen to and like. And like I said, it's not just for corporations or big collaborative brands like New Elementary. Jeff's doing this by himself, and you see brick bending stuff, it's his. So some examples you may have seen. Well, I know you can't see the blurriness. Oh boy, we gotta get a better projector. That's my projector, so I can trash talk it. So you see a post like this, and if you're familiar with New Elementary, it's pretty apparent that's what it is because of some of these things that we have here. The monochrome background, pretty much everybody at New Elementary has a different background, but they are pretty much solid. We're not doing any cluttery photos like Kelly recommended we avoid. The knolling that New Elementary does, a lot of people like to do them on the cover photos of their articles. I usually hide them in when I actually analyze the parts, but I think that's something that's very identifiable. Also, New Elementary uses our own font. It's not created exclusively for New Elementary, but it's not a system font, so very few other people are using it. It's a really small detail, but we're the LEGO blog that's focusing on the smallest details, so I think it kind of makes sense. And then all of our posts include, a New Elementary watermark, a little logo, and we've got that turquoise color that is on pretty much everything. And this is something that, the projects I was responsible for at Intel and Epic Games did the same things. We have, consistent titles of the articles. We'd always have, Intel Graphics has this portal that they like to put with the game art. And then the Fortnite videos, they've got this very stark blue and yellow, also the bold block letter font that gets used throughout Fortnite. So the reason why, smaller brands and big corporations do this is people like familiarity. It's easy to scroll through 10,000 posts and videos, but if you start to see stuff that you like, you're more likely to stop when you see New Elementary teal. It's like, oh, let's see, what are the new molds in whatever set we're reviewing at the time. So this is my studio setup. like I said, I think my focus on photography is the best thing that I can do with social media at the moment. And this is definitely a step up beyond shooting with your phone. But this camera I have, that camera is 20 years old. Like it's not that fantastic, but what does help with any kind of photography, regardless of the camera, is lots of light. Especially with Lego, because they're not transparent. I mean, unless you are building with transparent pieces, but as long as you can avoid the shine, if you just rotate your angles to make sure you're not getting light blasting right back into the camera, you can get a good photo with just about any camera if you have enough light. So working around the left side, I've got this constant light up at the top. That is for when I'm shooting video. It just lets me put light in an area and it just stays on. That's some, I don't know, $20, $30 light. That's the cheapest light that we have here. And if you're having problems with dark shadows, you're only using one light, or you're getting, I have purple walls. I painted them purple. I like purple, but if I get purple reflecting on my parts, it's gonna change the tint of them. So I use a reflector on the back. Sometimes I move that around. It doesn't have to be a pop-up reflector. I've used sheets of aluminum foil before. Some people use poster board. If it's white, it doesn't even have to be metallic. Something that'll just give you a neutral cast of the light hitting it. I've got my flashes, which, like I said, my wife has done some studio photography for quite some time, so we've acquired those over the years. I believe we bought them used, but I know they're not cheap. So again, you can skip this. You can use indoor lighting. You can use a constant light like that. You can use a lamp real close. Speaking of lamps, I've got clamps down at the bottom, just something that holds my paper onto the bottom there. The camera itself, yeah, we bought that used like 15 years ago and it hasn't given up on us yet. I use that same tripod that I've got recording the YouTube video for us, and then a flash trigger to work with the lights. One thing that I think is pretty low barrier to entry, but it's nice to have professional level equipment, is a white balance card. It's just a certified neutral gray with certified neutral white and black, but I just use the gray parts. I think they're less than $20, and anytime you try to edit photos and you have a white balance slider, you can just use an eyedropper and pick your true neutral gray. I don't have to do any of the color correction, just eyedropper and it's done. And I recently built this workbench. I wanted to make sure that it was sturdy and level because I was always setting up round parts to photograph, trying to get my real close shot for telemetry, and it starts rolling off. So I made sure that thing's level. And then I think everything else I've already talked about. I put together a backdrop holder. This was a cheap project. I just screwed a 2x4 to the wall, put a couple bike hooks in it, and a PVC pipe to go along with the half backdrop instead of a full width. And fits right there, drops down onto the workbench, that rolls up out of the way. My Lego room's not huge, so I've got more parts cabinets behind there, so it's nice to be able to roll things up and put it back down. But as a user of Instagram and other social media, I have a few tips to preserve your sanity, because honestly, sometimes it feels like this. Trying to use your phone, trying to engage with the community, and you just keep getting fed a whole bunch of unsavory posts. Yeah, so one thing that I like to do is, once you've been on a platform for a while and you've followed a few people, you might want to see only their posts. Instagram's got your home tab, which is your feed, and then a search tab, which is the discovery. And everything will show up in discovery. If you want only stuff showing up in your feed, there's a setting for that in content preferences. There's also one for political content. We all want to be well informed, but I don't want to be too informed, right? So I shot a little video of how to do this. So if you're on Instagram, hit your profile and you go up into the top right of the settings, and it's pretty far down there, but you can find content preferences under the What You See tab. Political content has 3 settings: see less, standard, and see more. They don't have a none. Trust me, there's enough news out there, I don't need more. But there's a snooze suggested post and feed. That's not a setting that will stay on permanently. It's a 30-day thing. Yeah. Meta loves to shove crap down your throats. But once you do that, it's just going to be posts that or accounts that you follow. You got to go back once a month and reset it, but you know, it's better than nothing. Yeah, because you'll get some weird stuff popping up in your Instagram feeds. Yeah, the algorithm. Yeah, it's this nebulous thing that is a black box that people can't see into, but we all have ideas of how to make it work better for us. One thing that does make PortLUG more visible, especially to the LEGO group and our local community, is engaging with it. So, of course, I forgot the one channel that I'm recording the whole talk for is YouTube, but PortLUG is on Facebook, on Instagram, Blue Sky, which is effectively a new alternative to Twitter, and Discord, which I don't necessarily consider social media. It's more of a messaging there. Yeah, but all great places that you can connect with, you know, folks that are here in this room, and you know, we'd love to share stuff that you're posting. So you can tag us, and we can repost some of those, or feel free to email it. I've talked with Eli. He said, sure, he'll forward it on to me, and I'll take care of it. And like I said, I'm mostly managing the Instagram page at this moment. I need to get the Blue Sky login and start building some momentum there. I believe Kelly is an admin of the Facebook group. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. So Facebook questions, don't ask me after. And then I believe all of us are on Discord in some capacity. Yeah.
So Zach, do we want to open it up for questions now?
Yeah, that was the last slide, so let's do it.
Anybody have any questions?
Specific or general, or any platform that you're on, one of us is probably on it, so we can help you with whatever strategies or...
As a user or a creator.
Yeah.
Yes.
PortLUG on Instagram. What's the name?
It's PortLUG PDX.
Yes.
Yeah, just all one word.
I have a question. When you're posting to Instagram specifically,
Mm-hmm.
how do you edit your photos so that your entire photo shows up? Because I'm like Kelly, I post on Instagram and it automatically posts on Facebook. And Facebook shows the entire photo.
Yeah.
And Instagram, it's like only the center, but Instagram is where I keep track of all of my crafting.
Yeah. So,
And
Instagram has just recently ruined your profile grid. It used to be it would only show the square that was the center. So it would go full width and then crop off whatever was top and bottom. Now they've gone 4x5. So if you're posting 4x5 photos, that's the only thing that's going to show in its entirety on an Instagram grid. If you post in any other aspect ratio, you know, whether it's landscape or vertical, it's going to take the 4x5 out of the center.
So they're basically forcing you into vertical.
They're forcing you into vertical. Yeah, they made that move after TikTok's profile pages had 4x5s, and they just wanted to copy them. So, yeah, they didn't ask anybody; they just did it.
Very kind.
So you just have to make sure your picture is, like, the center of it is, I guess, zoomed out enough so that when Instagram crops it, it'll show up on there. That's what I do. I don't really do much of editing my pictures ahead of time, but yeah.
It's always fun for New Elementary. In the blog, it makes sense to have landscape photos, and then we also have to rehash those photos into Instagram posts, which is one reason why we've started using this format where we've got the header and the footer. Less space that we have to figure out how to fill out.
Any other questions? Well, let's thank our panel. Zach, Kelly, Jeff, and Andrew. Thank you so much.
So
Yeah.
on Instagram, I post mainly reels, but have you guys, I'm sure you probably have because you've got more people, but have you noticed if you post something it doesn't perform very well in the first hour, it just gets axed at all?
You mean like deleted or?
Not deleted,
Just
but like
like-
I've seen
Not
it.
snooped up by an algorithm.
Yeah.
If you look at the insights on it, it'll say like 157 views in the first hour and then
Yeah.
flat.
I kind of see that. Yeah.
I've looked into that a little bit, and apparently, from what I can tell, they just stop showing content. It doesn't perform in the first
Right.
hour of it. So
I've
that's
seen
I've been kind of sidelining Instagram a bit. I just post reels because of that, because I can't get viewership on it, because also post at a consistent time of the day. Because if you just randomly post at like 8 at night, there's nobody on. They won't show your content.
I'm guilty of that.
Yeah. I try to post everything at noon. I schedule it. But
I've come to the conclusion that the algorithms are like the gods.
yeah.
Right? And so you just constantly like, what do? I stand up and I do the dance, and at the end of the day, it's so out of your, and they move over time. Each one has their own. So it's one of those things where you might find that sweet spot for a while, but it's going to change.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Is it best to post like multiple times with the same information? I mean,
I think it's all over the map.
it is.
It's all over the
Each
map.
platform's different.
Yeah.
My strategy to do as well as I can in the Instagram, the algorithm, is to, well, I'll post a reel in real time, whatever that is, and then let it play, and I will watch the numbers to see how well it's performing in those first hours, because I'm like, is this gonna do well? And then it does what it does. And then I'll wait like 24 hours after I post it, and then I'll share that reel in my story, so that in case some of my followers didn't see it in the algorithm, now they're seeing it in my story and they might click on it there, so then it gets a boost of like views 24 hours later, and that kind of keeps it going for a little bit longer.
I should stagger them. I've been
Yeah.
posting stories of the reels as soon as I post the reel.
Immediately, I wait a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna wait a little bit. Because I've been doing lots of reels for PortLUG's format, because it's easy to get the vertical videos here while people are doing show and tell. You know,
But I think
slap a template over it.
the other tidbit for YouTube is that YouTube's a very different creature in that your thumbnail and your title for a long form video are absolutely mission critical. Like you have to get that dialed. And so I've had videos where they did quite well for a year, and then I went back and I just went, I'm just gonna tweak that thumbnail and title, and then they just have a whole second life.
I've been seeing that lately. You'll see a post, and then like 2 hours later, it has a completely different thumbnail.
Because it's built into YouTube. You could always
Yeah.
change the title and the thumbnail manually, but now they've built in A/B testing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
You get one title and 3 alternative thumbnails, and then it runs a test for up to like 14 days, where it tests to see the click-through rate, which is important. Like if nobody clicks on your video, you're never gonna get a watch. But then they combine it with average view time. So what they really want is the person who clicks that thumbnail actually stays for the content. And so if you have a 3 thumbnail contest and one of them is just absolutely better than the others, within 12 hours it'll just go, this is the winner, and it's setting forward. That's actually really nice. Except now there's like an infinite number of variations, and so you're just like, how many different thumbnails do you prepare? And,
Kelly, is there a specific time that you do your reels? You said something about time.
Yeah, I thought the time mattered, and I feel like I posted at all times of day, and I don't know that it matters, because I know that I have posted like right before I go to bed. I'm like trying to get this reel up today, so it'll be like 9, 10 o'clock at night, and they seem to do okay, because the time of day, like at 10 o'clock at night, is morning in Europe, and so like they're
Yeah.
seeing it and they're viewing it, and so I don't know that the time of day matters.
I think it probably a lot of it has to do with your followers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The area your
Yeah.
followers are in.
Yeah.
If you've got followers across the country, across the world,
Yeah.
then I think the time really doesn't matter all that much. But
Right.
if the majority of your followers are here in the Northwest or on the Pacific Coast time, then yes, it would make more of a difference to post at 8 o'clock at night, because then they might
Yeah.
not see it.
Right.
You know, so
YouTube claims over and over again
Yeah.
that it does not matter.
Right.
It does not matter. And I don't know if I believe them, but they are saying it. So.
The analytics on YouTube is actually very specific. They give you a very good breakdown of age demographics, what time the users are viewing content, their location geographically. Most of my views come from males in the U.S., ages 18 to 30, basically, and most of them are on between like 10 and 4 p.m. or 10 a.m. 4 p.m. So I try to schedule all my posts noon. I don't wake up till like 5 in the afternoon because I work nights. So I I do my videos at like 3 in the morning, scheduled it for noon that day, and then I go to sleep. But yeah, it really, my wife and I use YouTube as our TV, basically. And so we're just watching through, after we get home from work at midnight. So we don't fit in that, noon range.
What's that?
And people in Europe have really different time zones. So I don't really think when you post matters. But you can definitely check out who sees your stuff most and see when they're doing most of their viewership. And that would be a better time to post because then people who are gonna see it are already online.
Instagram doesn't give you all those analytics unless you have a business account, which it's free to do. I don't know how it affects discovery and algorithm. Like my personal Instagram, I made into a business account just because I wanted to see that stuff.
I haven't looked into that.
It's just a switch you toggle and then it gives you the full features.
Because I'm not gonna pay for the check mark.
Yeah, no, you don't have to do that. But you can choose a business type. I've seen some Lego Instagram users who have their business type as construction company. I love that.
Boy.
Well, thank you so much. And we'll probably be doing this again, depending on our panelists if they want to. We'll see how it goes. But that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.